This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
One of the greatest creators of science fiction, Jules Verne, in the writing of his 1865 story From the Earth to the Moon, managed to inspire a lot of people. His fanciful story featured a group of intrepid explorers being shot out of a cannon in a projectile to visit Earth's nearest celestial neighbor. Toward the end of the 19th century, many theoreticians were studying what it might take to achieve such a feat, and several concluded that accomplishing a trip to the moon would not be possible in a single direct shot. But if some sort of near-orbiting base camp could be set up, an outpost as it were, then a craft heading to the moon would only have to visit it first to refuel and then continue its journey. Russian space pioneer Konstantin Tsiolkovsky was one who derived inspiration from Verne's works. Many credit Tsiolkovsky as being the father of modern spaceflight, as he laid the foundations for what problems and challenges needed to be overcome, and potentially how to do so. One concept included a space station with a rotating section to generate artificial gravity. Such a station would be used to investigate Earth and refuel ships proceeding to other destinations, such as the moon. In Germany, a rocketry pioneer named Hermann Oberth, who was born just before the turn of the century, formed similar conclusions to Tsiolkovsky. Oberth wrote a dissertation for his physics doctorate at the University of Heidelberg, where he tackled the challenges of spaceflight, starting with getting a rocket off the ground, thrusting it into space, and having it stay there. He also wrote about the need to have a space station in orbit to use as a refueling base for a craft to go elsewhere. His dissertation was rejected, as it was considered to be too speculative. But rather than give up on the years of work, Oberth raised some money on his own, and had the dissertation published as a 90-page book in 1923, titled The Rocket into Planetary Space. The book sold slowly, but eventually it gained acceptance in science circles. Oberth expanded on the concepts in later pressings of his book, and also introduced concepts from other early rocketry pioneers, such as Austrian-born Max Valier and German-American space historian and advocate Willy Lai in his own writings. In his later publications, Oberth expanded on the role of space stations, as he theorized that stations placed in higher orbit could be used for observation of the stars. Others could be used as space-based platforms for spying on distant countries, or perhaps be fitted with weapons to use against an aggressor nation. Oberth's book would have quite an impact on impressionable young people, as many rocketry clubs were founded all over Germany, thanks to his work. Max Valier, along with 9 other men, helped to found a rocketry club known as the Verein für Raumschifffahrt, German for Society for Space Travel, or the VFR. Oberth was asked to join the VFR, as his presence would give their group legitimacy. For his part, Oberth saw it as an opportunity to gain publicity for his ideas and to locate funding to help develop them. He joined up and served as the group's first president. Another person who joined the group early on was an eager 18-year-old named Werner von Braun from Wirsitz in the province of Posen, then part of the German Empire. Anyone who has a passing interest in the history of rocketry knows that von Braun would eventually help to develop rocketry in the VFR to a point where it was directly funded by Adolf Hitler's Nazi-led German government. Germany's leaders understood the untapped weapons potential of rockets. Eventually, von Braun and a team of German engineers and scientists would develop their A-4 rocket into a practical weapon known as the V-2, Vergeltungswaffe 2, which made its presence known to those fighting against Germany in the Second World War. Any possibility for space exploration and space stations would take a back seat for a number of years, as the rocket simply became something that could deliver a bomb beyond the range of the most powerful artillery cannons of the day. Toward the end of the war, von Braun and his team knew that Hitler's days as Germany's leader were numbered, and they made efforts to surrender to advancing U.S. military forces fighting Germany in the West, figuring it was preferable to surrendering to the Soviet Union forces fighting in the East. Von Braun succeeded, as his team and their families were later brought to the United States to continue their work after the war.